Yesterday we talked about Khanti. One of the points that I would like to make and um, didn't make it yesterday because Khanti is a dynamic quality. Khanti is not passive; it's rather quite dynamic as quality. Uh, when we say Khanti, we usually think, as I mentioned yesterday, we don't like something, we don't like the weather, we don't like people, we don't like a system, but we can't do anything and we put up with that. So it's a kind of passive tolerance. This is how many people understand Khanti or tolerance. But I would like to understand in a different way, as I explained yesterday. Khanti has two levels. The first one, you have Khanti, but you are not at peace. You are still struggling. At the beginning, when we first meditated, we try to bear with the pain so that we can complete 1 hour session. But the mind was very restless. The mind was very troubled with the pain, agitated, struggling, when this pain is going to end, when this session is going to end, when the bell is going to ring. You can see how the mind was in trouble. You didn't move. You're trying to follow the routine, the instruction to accomplish to the 1 hour session, the 1 hour sitting session. And so you can see that you have Khanti, but you don't have peace. But after you have been meditating, for many retreats, for many hours, the physical body is working as it used to be. That is changing all the time. The heat element, the wind element, the earth element, those three, the water element is not quite visible. So those three elements, they present themselves, they express themselves, they function. As on the first day we started meditation, maybe in the first week we started meditation. So now after so many years, this physical body is not getting younger, it's not getting stronger. But we can tolerate this pain. We can tolerate these elements. The way we tolerate this is more peaceful now, more peaceful. We are not that impatient, okay, about the hour, about the duration to sit. So these are the two levels of Khanti that I mentioned yesterday. But still many people in the outside world, they would think that to have Khanti means to accept things passively. Once you have Khanti towards a certain person, certain situation, certain system, you don't try to do anything about that anymore. That's how people understand it outside. I like to bring you from the life of the Buddha. And we continue from where we left out yesterday. We left off yesterday. Panchavakiya, they left the Buddha and they went to Paranasi. They were not happy with him. And that was because he gave up fasting, he gave up um, ascetic practice, self-torturous practice. So they gave up on him. But for him, okay, for somebody who would become Buddha in a matter of hours' time, uh, he didn't give up on them. Not only that he didn't give up on them, he had all the patience towards them. It doesn't matter whatever they say, because now they couldn't understand why I have decided to give up this practice, because I wanted to pursue another path, which he later called the middle way. So it's something like the mother understands the child doesn't understand the mother. So the mother has more candy. The child, hasn't got much candy for the mother. That kind of parental love quality that comes from experience, that comes from maturity. You can see that in somebody who will become Buddha. But the five Panchavakiya, they just gave it up. They went all the way to Paranasi. So it's a long way, long way those days. 2,600 years ago, a long way. Even today, with the best road India has ever known, with the best car, the best vehicles available to them, it still takes you more than 4 hours to go there. More than 4 hours. Is it is a longer distance from Suvarnabhumi to Niranara to Kauri. It's a longer distance. But if you have to walk, those days they walk. You can see how determined they were to give up on him and just to walk away. But here, I would be Buddha. he was not shaken. He continued to pursue um, his his path, and after he had achieved enlightenment, he went to see them. He went to see them because he wanted to do something for them. If in the society somebody says something very negative to you, I doubt you would give that person a second chance. So you can see the Buddha went all the way just to meet them. You can see about a thousand monks, a thousand ascetics, okay, practicing near Bodh Gaya. He could have gone to them first. Instead, he went all the way to Varanasi to meet five five friends, Panchavaki. And when they saw him, um, they were still quite bitterly disappointed with him. Okay, here he comes. Okay, don't welcome him. Just ignore him. They agree among themselves. I'm sure that the Buddha would have noticed that, but he still went to talk to them, and of course he managed to change them. This is a Khanti because he was at peace. When they left him, before he became Buddha, he was at peace. Okay, the quality of Khanti with peace, peaceful Khanti. You're not grinding your teeth anymore. You quite see the point with some understanding. And then when he went to Varanasi, the first time they met again before they spoke, as I have just recounted, he was at peace. They tried to behave as strangers, trying to ignore him, but he was still at peace. The five were not at peace. So in Khanti, which is the highest practice, you can see very strong compassion. You can see very strong understanding. Because the mother understands suffering, the consequences of doing something and not doing something, which the child doesn't understand. So the mother has all the patience, but not the child. Not the child. In the same way, okay, I read the life of the Buddha in this way. I can see the quality of his Khanti. Khanti. Um, one thing, very striking for ordinary people like us is that the Buddha didn't blame the five friends who left him. Okay, they were with him for 6 years, and they left him. he didn't blame them for doing that. You were wrong to have left me. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. So he spent some time over there, and now he returned to Bodh Gaya. On the way, he met a thousand, a thousand, a group of ascetics, Risi, 1,000 of them, led by three brothers. He went to see them, and um, they were not aware that he was enlightened, he was Buddha. Not yet. And he just went to see them. Can I stay for the night? And stay for the night. Because they had very clear rule. He didn't belong to them. So I said, okay, you can stay somewhere, but we don't have any extra place. That's where we wear a fire. They worship fire. They worship fire. And in there, you have a very, uh, very cruel, very furious dragon that might eat you up. Okay. If you want, you can stay there. You can see the way they welcome. If I go to a temple, if people welcome me that way, I would walk away. I don't have that Khanti. I don't have that Khanti. And he was very happy. He was not offended because he saw the maturity, the good quality in those ascetics. They were there, almost nearly there. So he saw a good point in them. He had already reflected on people, analyzing people. Some people are like lotus, which is still deep down in the mud. Some of them above the mud, but deep down in the water. And some of them near the surface, but still under the water. Some of them already above the water. Yes, and they're only waiting for the sun to blossom. So those 1,000, they are something like a lotus flower above the surface, only waiting for the touch of the sun. So he saw that. He saw that. So he had all the patience for them. He appreciated that. He appreciated that they dedicated their life to a certain practice. They already attained concentration. They already led a very pure life. So he saw all the good points. They came in the morning. They saw him. Oh, look, he wasn't eaten up by the dragon. That's how they became impressed with him. They became impressed. Now they wanted to be his friend. They wanted to talk to him. And when he talked to them, what do you do? Oh, we practice, we worship fires. This is how we do it. You can see in many Hindu temples, you worship fire. Fire as the creator of the world, the maintainer of the world. Our body you can see a fire, the heat, there's a metabolism. With that, we eat and you know the body cooks nutrition in the body, how the body functions. So they also understand the four elements very well. But the fire they focus on is outside. The Buddha said, actually, the real fire is inside. That's where he told Aditya Pariyaya Sutta, the fire sermon. Aditya Pariyaya Sutta. Fire, is emotion. When you want something, you're on fire. When you don't get something, when you reject something, when you don't like something, you're on fire. When you don't know that uh, you like something, you just get carried away. You're on fire. So there's lobha, dosa, moha. So that's the fire. And where the fire is burning in the eyes. Whenever you see something, if you don't like, now the fire starts burning. If you like, you want that, the fire start burning as well. And from what you hear, you look at Facebook, you look at Twitter, you can see your emotion. Fire is burning. Fire is burning. You watch television, you watch the news on the social media. You don't like certain system, you don't like certain people. The fire is already here. It's already burning. It's from the eye, from the ear. So ayatana. Okay. Loba dosa ma, that's chittanupassana. When the Buddha talks about six ayatana, where the fire is burning, the eyes, the ears, the Dhammanupassana. With that, the whole 1,000, the entire 1,000, the entire group of 1,000 monks, they became enlightened, fully enlightened. Now they share his patience. So it's to a group of these monks and all other monks, 1,250 of them, that the Buddha declared the first time in Rajaka Rajakrit Khanti Paramanta Bodhitika. Khanti is the highest. I think is the highest only when a four path is working together, integrated. Then the quality of the Eightfold Paths will be seen in Khanti. Khanti, one word, will capture the whole practice, the whole quality. Just before that, in Varanasi, the Buddha told 60 monks, 60 arahants, before he came to the fire worshipping monks. 60 of them. Okay, you must go different way. No two monks should go on the same way. You have to go out and help the people so that they can liberate themselves from suffering. You can see a very active Khanti. They are full of Khanti, very active, very dynamic. So in the Mongkon Sutta, the last one, the last Mongkon is Buddhassa Loka Dhammehi Chittang Yasana Kampati. You can tolerate Lokatham, the conditions of the world, whatever the world throws at you. Okay, you smile at them. You don't run away. You don't grind your teeth and hide. Instead, you are not being shaken. That's Khanti. Asokam, Virajam, Asokam. You don't have anxiety anymore. Virajam, you don't cling to that anymore. So, to develop Khanti, what we do that is, we observe our clinging mind. We observe this. We observe our anxiety. We observe our shaken mind. And that's Nibbana. Asokam, Virajam, Khemang. Khemang also Khema. You feel secure. That is why in Ovada Patimo, after the Buddha said, Khanti Paramang Tapotiteka, Nibbanang, Vadanti, Nibbanang Paramang, Sukha. Nibbana is the highest Sukha. So the two statements come together. Khanti, okay, over there, Khanti and Nibbana, they come together. When we sit in meditation, we have the opportunity to observe how the mind reacts to the body. The four elements in the body, they are like four snakes. Four snakes. They are comparable to four snakes. So in our body, we have nothing but four snakes. The heat element, if we don't have enough of that, we feel very cold and we don't digest well. We need this metabolism, we need this heat element. If too much heat, then we have fever, you see, and we get dehydrated very often. You can see how the heat element needs looking after. We have to take care of that very well. So it's like taking care of a poisonous snake. This snake is never going to be grateful. Okay. Sometimes we have to put it to bed to rest. Sometimes we have to feed that. Sometimes we have to wash that. We have to dress that all the time. Okay. We have to take care of these four snakes like our child. But unlike, okay, our children, these snakes, they don't feel grateful. If they don't get their way, if the heat doesn't get its way, it will bite. The earth element, okay, the hotness, the softness, if it doesn't get its way, it will bite as well. So these four elements, they are testing our Khanti. In order to be able um, to manage them, the very first thing we need is we need some level of concentration. If we don't have concentration, so whenever you feel slight discomfort, you rattle, you become rattle, you become shaken. There's something like the snake is biting. The snake is biting. So if you can sit for 1 hour at peace without changing your posture, that means you can keep the four snakes away for 1 hour. The snakes don't bite you for 1 hour. Before we die, usually these four snakes, they fight among themselves. They fight among themselves. So we would experience pain, we would experience stiffness, we would experience um, uh, certain things. At that time, some people would be very weak that they can't speak, they can't tell the doctors what they want anymore. They can't say to their family members how they feel. So no one can help them at that time. So all the meditation teachers say, okay, we have to practice dying before we die. That's so that Khanti works well at that time. Meaning it doesn't matter however, okay, um, um, troubling the snakes are. If you have developed a certain level of concentration, you can tolerate that. If you develop further, distinguishing between the mind and the body, the snakes is left behind. The snake is left behind. Because you can, okay, now this is the physical body working the way it does. This is its nature. You're not expecting anything from this physical body to behave the way that it's behaving. Don't be like this, don't be like that. The mind is not demanding that. You must be like this, you mustn't be like that. the fire element, the four element, the wind elements. You must not be like this. It shouldn't be like this. Okay. Those here a few years ago, it never like this. Now it's like this. You see, the way we complain. That means we cannot distinguish between the functions of the mind and the body. As a result, we expect the body not to change, not to deteriorate, not to fight among themselves, the four elements. We expect them to be like that. We have studied the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. Ewang me rupang hotu, ewang me rupang mahositi. May my physical body be like this. May it not be like that. The Buddha asked the five friends, can you get your way like that? And they so very clear, no, we can't get like that. So I think at that time they not only see the difference between the mind and the body, but they also see that both mind and the body, you cannot dictate them. Be like this, not be like that. So if you go into meditation, this time I'm going to focus mainly on breathing. I'm going to do like that. I'm going to notice it, notice that, so that I won't have pain. So that I won't have pain. The idea that you won't have pain is atta. Is atta. So the ability to see the mind, the body working according to their nature, the way it is. This will help us to remain peaceful in the face of the false name. In the face of the false name. I'm talking about this because I think for the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and the physical body มันเมื่อยมันเมื่อย and I don't know the reason. And the reason is one of the elements, and I I I keep telling myself, okay, I have to watch my mind rather than the physical body. เมื่อย this is a concept. The body doesn't know. It's feeling เมื่อย no, it doesn't know. It's the mind which is making it up. You can see sanya working. Sanya is interfering or topping it up. Okay, topping it up. The more sanya, okay, among the khandha, sanya is topping it up. The less Khanti we will have. The less Khanti we will. If we do have Khanti, it will be teeth grinding Khanti. It will be non-peaceful Khanti. So through the observation, it doesn't matter how we observe. Okay, if we observe through Mahasi, if we observe through Longpocha, if we observe any way, that observation, that learning, will help us strengthen our Khanti. I stop here. Maybe you may have any question.
Actually, when we practice Khanti, I feel like it's not it's not Khanti to the external objects, but actually Khanti to our mind, like dislike, um, um, agitation, or something like that. So, can you explain more how Khanti play roles in the positive emotion then, like or happiness? Do we need Khanti there also?
What is Khanti and what is not Khanti? Working when we work on what is not Khanti, like agitation, we are actually strengthening our Khanti as well. Because when we say Nivarana, hindrances, we are working on the hindrances to Khanti, hindrances to Khanti. So if you can see anything not peaceful as hindrances to Khanti, something that is contributing to Khanti, understanding, seeing, compassion, and including mudita, they are all contributing, um, helping to strengthen Khanti. We use Khanti as the theme here, but we have to understand Khanti in the widest possible sense. Um, by watching breathing in and out, in and out, we are developing patience. There comes hindrances when the mind wanders away, when the mind is on something else. And when we don't like it, when we want the mind to be focused on just one object, now we get frustrated. We get frustrated because the mind is not focused. We get frustrated because we don't get our way. We don't get our way. Our expectation is that the mind should not go anywhere. It should not. It should not be thinking. Instead, the mind should be just on breathing, just on rise and fall of the abdomen. When the mind is not there, we feel unhappy. Why? Because what is happening here is just the opposite of our expectation. Our expectation. And our expectation here that mind should be like this. This is what meditation should be. Sanya is sanya. When it doesn't conform with our expectation, with our sanya, then sankhara, reaction comes. We are not at peace at that time because we don't see our sanya. We just see the wandering mind. Actually, what we should observe here is not the wandering mind anymore. Is our perception, sanya, our perception. For some people, we don't have to observe everything. Some people, they would understand sanya better. Some people, they would understand sankhara better. Some people, vedana better. Some people in terms of ayatana. So, if something is clear to you, just follow that line. Just follow that line. You don't have to be everywhere. We don't have to be everywhere. Even 5 khandhas, we don't have to do all the 5. 4 satipatthana, we don't have to do all the 4. We try at the beginning, we do window shopping so that we understand all the 4. By the time we go deep, one of them will become clearer than others. In the same way, 5 khandhas, one of them will be clearer than others. 6 ayatana, one of them will be clearer than others. It depends on our background.
Yeah. You said about that the patience is dynamic, but today when I do it, it seems like the right understanding is connecting with the patient, with the Khanti. And when you have right understanding, there is the Khanti. But it seems like when you have Khanti, it's like it's in being mode. Yeah, it's in being mode, not active. But you say that Khanti is dynamic. Yeah.
I think you have problem connecting the word dynamic with being. You may think that being mode, is not dynamic. You may think that way. If you solve, if you get your head around here, that that will be fine. This is a very good point. A very good point. These are all sanya, because we think doing mode and being mode. If we are in being mode, because we understand doing mode as being dynamic. Actually, sitting here with mindfulness, we need to be very alert, very dynamic, very dynamic, yeah, very dynamic. So I don't see any contradiction uh, between being mode and being dynamic. Understanding is very dynamic. Compassion is also very dynamic.
Mm. May I ask for your advice when we annoy somebody, we feel annoyed by somebody, where should we focus our Khanti? Is it Khanti on the compassion with like with their nature, or Khanti on our annoying habit, or where should we focus?
Uh, on anything you mentioned, but let me just pick up compassion. If you use compassion to understand that person, the moment you can feel the pain of that person, this person um, has this shortcoming, and um, so if you accept his, or if you accept that shortcoming, if you can feel their pain, people who annoy you, they would be annoying themselves also. So if you can feel their pain that way, you feel compassionate towards them. Next time, you will be more patient towards them. You use compassion. But you should also use compassion for yourself. Um, because your patience is still limited, and when something triggers, you feel annoyed. You can see the limitation. So if you work on your limitation and that person's limitation, there's a chance for compassion. With compassion, the annoyance will be less and less, meaning Khanti will be more and more. If you don't look at that way, you want to look at mudita. Look at something good in that person. Okay, the way the 1,000 monks welcome the Buddha was very annoying. Was very annoying. We don't have any spare space. If you like, you can stay there, but you might get eaten up by a dragon. That's the way they welcome. But the Buddha saw a lot of qualities in them. He was happy with them before they were happy with. So he could tolerate them, or he had Khanti for them. He didn't react. Or you can say that those 1,000 monks, they were missing one important thing. So they worked very hard. They didn't get um, they didn't get as much as as they could, because they were missing one important piece in their practice. Okay, that's the real fire inside. They couldn't see that. So the Buddha could also be um, very active with his compassion towards them. So he had all the patience towards. He wasn't annoyed. Not only that, he was there for them. They didn't invite him. He went there on his own because he wanted to do something for them.
Uh, in working with Khanti, it means that we have to overcome whether it's positive and negative. So, like something that negative comes up, we have Khanti. It it seems like we automatically goes to compassion. Uh, so what happened with the positive mindset, something like that? Is it also considered something to work with Khanti?
When you feel mudita, there is already Khanti. Khanti is already there. Not excitement, but mudita. Excitement is a different thing. Yeah. So, um, when you feel mudita, when you're feeling mudita at that time, you have Khanti for the weather, you have Khanti for the noises, you have Khanti um, uh, uh, for everyone over there. For example, if you feel very joyful for one of your grandson because he is doing quite well, at that time, okay, at that time, you can tolerate anything. You can tolerate the weather more than you can usually do. You can tolerate staying late more than you can usually do. Um, you can tolerate them. You can tolerate their demand and many things because you're quite happy with with um, maybe achievement, performance like it. So you can see in mudita there's already Khanti. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to expand the notion of Khanti, the notion of Khanti today. That Khanti is not a passive quality, but rather active, rather dynamic. Yeah, rather dynamic. Uh, Yesterday we talked about two Khanti, not peaceful one and peaceful one. Today is more peaceful one, more peaceful one. Okay. If somebody is annoying, we feel annoyed. We feel annoyed because at that time we are not peaceful. The mind is not at peace. So is the lower Khanti, the lower Khanti. And at that moment, we need to take care of ourselves. Sometimes with mindfulness, sometimes with compassion, sometimes with mudita. We need to take care of ourselves. Meaning we have to work on the hindrances. We work on the hindrances to Khanti. Okay. With positive mind, how sustainable that positive mind is, how long we can be positive, because we have our expectation, we have our sanya among the five khandhas. If something doesn't conform with our sanya, okay, whether our positive thinking will still be working, we have to um, look at that. So in that way, we push our boundary little by little. We push our boundary by working on the hindrances. You don't have to stop yourself. You, you don't have to take a precept. But when you eat, if you eat slowly, if you chew many times for one bite, you're practicing Khanti. You're practicing Khanti. When you have to take medicine, and think about the scientists who research for this medicine and the people who invest in them and the doctors who learn about diagnosis and the treatment, all those things. Because you yourself is a medic, you can appreciate them. By doing that, when you're eating, when you're taking your medicine, when you're drinking, when you're walking, you're developing Khanti all the time. Khanti. And this is the theme, this is the topic that we focus on this retreat, Khanti. We don't judge our meditation through concentration. We judge through Khanti. If the mind is not peaceful, earlier we would say, okay, my mind is not concentrated. But this time we will say maybe there are hindrances towards Khanti. I'm going to work on those hindrances. And by working on those hindrances, we are working on concentration. It's the same, just different passages, different description. You can use the word vipassana instead of Khanti, but here we use the word Khanti instead of vipassana, instead of concentration, instead of Raisika. So we use the word Khanti. Okay, I think we can stop here.